Went to my mum's best friend's place for dinner. Her son happens to be my ex. I pretended I didn't know him and kept my head down, scrolling videos. The very first video I opened, how to get your ex-boyfriend's attention. Watched it 8 times, totally not interested, and swiped away. Next up was Dr. Shu Chow. Can guys still get it up after drinking? That's when I realized my earbuds had no sound. So I cranked the volume way up. The next second, the man at the other end of the couch ripped off his headphones looking annoyed. You can, even after drinking. Stop watching, he told me. I stared, dumbfounded. Then the man said, Ex-girlfriend, you're freaking connected to my headphones. That evening, nobody cooked. My parents planned to eat out. I sat in my room looking like I was diligently writing my thesis, but really my ears were pricked, waiting for them to knock and call me. The front door key turned in the lock, and still no one called me. I couldn't sit still. Barefoot, I bolted out and stopped them. Mum, Dad, where are you going? Dinner, I gently reminded them. And don't you think something's missing? My mum glanced around, puzzled. Missing what? I kept jabbing a finger at myself. Me. You're going out to eat without me? Aren't you busy with your thesis? Almost done 3,000 yesterday, 4,000 today. Total lie. In reality, I wrote 3,000 yesterday and deleted 4,000 today. 2 hectic days, and I'm 1,000 in the red. Another day making my advisor lose face in academia, lol. If he knew, he'd probably say, go home, kid. Just go home, will you? Didn't you post on Moments about some Thursday thing? I already V'd you 500. No, I want to go out too. Dad thought for a second, then asked again. You sure? School starts tomorrow. If your thesis isn't done, you really dare go? What's there to be afraid of? It's just dinner. It's not like we're eating at my advisor's house. My parents exchanged looks. Afraid they'd change their minds, I threw on shoes, dashed out the door, and buckled myself into the car. They couldn't ditch me, so they took me along. For now, I didn't have to wring out academic garbage to pollute the world. I was in a great mood the whole way, humming while the two up front chatted. Bit by bit, I gathered we were going to my mom's long-lost best friend's house for dinner. Turns out my dad and the best friend's husband were college classmates. The coincidence put Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to shame. Mom said her bestie has a son who takes after his mom's super handsome. Then she tapped me suddenly. Isabel, your auntie's son just finished his PhD this year. Same major as you. If you hit any thesis snags, you can ask him for help. Dad chimed in. Tisk. Sounds like the old man wants his boy to inherit the mantle and be a professor. Mom replied, not wasting a drop of talent. He really is impressive. They stopped and traded a look. Then in perfect sync, lifted their eyes to the rearview mirror at me, sweeping the sunflower seeds I'd just shelled into my palm and tossing them back in one go. Crunch, crunch, crunch. When I looked up, I felt their prickly stares. Mom looked away first. Forget it. I don't think those two are meant to be. I almost choked on a seed. Trying to set me up again? I hadn't even seen his face. No thanks. I nodded quickly. Right. I'm not good enough for him. I'm just a pitiful grad student who's a net negative to society. Future, totally abstract and incapable of writing a thesis. Mum turned around and stared me down. And here I thought you didn't know why we weren't taking you tonight. I was so annoyed I didn't want to speak. The destination was a villa community. After we parked and started walking, I trailed behind on purpose, putting a dozen meters between us. They didn't care, just strolled ahead hand in hand. By the time I snapped out of it, they were already knocking on someone's door. I hurried up. The door opened. It was getting dark, but from a distance I could make out a tall, fair-skinned, very handsome guy. No way, this top-shelf hottie. And you're telling me he's a STEM PhD? Torn between worrying my parents would go in without me and wanting a better look at his face, I broke into a jog. I finally reached them. Exhaled, one hand on my hip, wiping sweat. And this is? the handsome guy asked in a smooth, clear voice, obviously about me. It sounded oddly familiar. I looked up one glance and ducked my head again. Why couldn't it be darker? After cursing the sky, I cursed myself for being so greedy I had to tag along for dinner. He definitely recognized me too. I kept quiet. My dad stepped in. This is Uncle and Auntie's daughter, Isabel. You two went to the same university. She's a second-year grad student. Come on, Isabel. This is your Uncle Smith's son, Jason. I wanted to say, Dad, no need for the full bio. At our closest, we even knew how many moles the other had and which one was the most sensitive. We were a perfect match on paper, but neither of us was easy. His mouth was snarky, mine was worse. I can't even remember which tiny thing set it off, but we had a huge fight. In the heat of the moment, I dumped him. He nodded, slammed the door, and that was that. Now he's my ex. Oh, so it's I say BL, he drawled, stretching the O and the R to the limit, dripping with sarcasm. A string of curses crowded my tongue. I glared at him and swallowed them. Hard. You two know each other? My mom caught my weird expression in Jason's tone, her suspicious gaze ping-ponging between us. Really know each other? Met before? I stayed silent, praying Jason wouldn't be a jerk, and blurted out. Just as my nerves were fraying, a loud, high-pitched male voice came from inside. What? Isabel! Why are you here? Didn't you say you were writing your thesis? I was done for. It was my advisor. Just 5 minutes earlier, Professor Smith had messaged me. Isabel, an entire break has gone by. Will I ever, in this lifetime, get to read your first draft? I couldn't possibly disappoint my kind, gentle advisor, right? So I immediately sent him a staged photo of my desk, piled high with references. I confidently fobbed him off. See? I didn't go anywhere today. I haven't even had dinner, head down. Writing. Obviously, I'll hand in a draft this week and be the next academic rising star by next week. He said nothing, just kept sending me the death smile emoji. Now, seeing me at his front door, he upgraded it to the full, in-person death smile. The 50-something man waved a scallion at me like I was a hopeless case. Gritting his teeth, he looked ready to scold me, but with my parents there, and his wife urging him to hurry up and smash the garlic and ginger, he swallowed it back and stormed into the kitchen. Jason, having enjoyed the show, gave a sly little smile as he answered my mum's earlier question. His words dripped with sarcasm. Isabel here is one of my dad's favorite students. He's always bringing her up at home made quite an impression. I felt like nothing in this world could be more awkward than my ex-boyfriend being my advisor's son. I was dying of embarrassment, wishing I could bury my head in the ground. At that moment, my grad school career felt like it had just derailed completely. Feeling so ashamed, I stuck to my mum's side like glue the second we walked in. Jason poured us tea, and I hid behind my mum, who assumed I was just being shy. She pulled my head out from behind her and encouraged me to speak. Your brother poured you tea. What do you say? I exhaled, plastered on a fake smile, and said, thanks. Mum gave me a stern look and cleared her throat. I caved immediately. Thanks, brother. Jason chuckled for no reason. He nodded. You're welcome, little sister. He emphasized those 2 words, then gave me a long, sidelong glance. I barely sipped my tea before Mum headed off to chat with her bestie. Dad and Professor Smith hadn't seen each other in ages, so they were busy catching up too. In the huge living room, it was suddenly just me and Jason. Our eyes met by accident. I quickly looked away, pretending I hadn't seen him, face blank as I pulled out my earbuds. They say videos make time fly. I just wanted this socially fatal night to end fast. I bowed my head and scrolled. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jason pull out his earbuds too. He looked like he didn't want to talk to anyone, sitting coldly at the far end of the couch. I let out a long breath. Guess I was overthinking. He clearly didn't want to talk to me either. I opened TikTok. The first video auto-played with the caption, "How to get your ex-boyfriend's attention." The video had just ended when I heard a chuckle nearby. I glanced up to see Jason smirking, smug and delighted, like someone had just hooked him on purpose. Had he really moved on already in just 3 months? Something squeezed uncomfortably in my chest. Watching TikToks here was nothing like doing it in the comfort of my own bed. Maybe it was the lack of privacy, but I couldn't even process it right. First watch, no clue, so I watched again. And again. By the 8th time, I finally snapped out of it. Why the hell was I watching How to Get Your Ex's Attention? I'd rather disappear in front of him. Not interested, swiped away. The next one was Dr. Shu Chao again. Can guys still get it up after drinking? My pupils dilated. I slammed pause. Seriously? Shu Chao. Would it kill you to introduce yourself first? Jump scare at frame 0, no defense, no escape. I'd already suffered a social death moment once when I accidentally opened this kind of video in the elevator without headphones. After that trauma, I swore always use earbuds. Never play out loud. Never let a second person hear. And tonight, I did have earbuds on, but I still felt uneasy. I glanced around. Everyone else was busy chatting. No one had heard. I relaxed, until my eyes strayed back toward Jason. His brows were furrowed, his earlier grin frozen awkwardly, like he'd just seen or heard something unbelievable. Whatever. More important than Jason's ate shit face. I was genuinely curious if guys could still perform after drinking. But this was someone else's house, and even if no one was watching me, I still felt embarrassed. Didn't know why I was squirming, but I kept imagining someone sneaking up behind me. Too embarrassed to look. But hey, I could still listen. I pulled down the notification bar to cover the video and just listened. A few seconds in, nothing. Just the older folks chatting. Where was Dr. Shu? I wanted to hear his voice. That's when I realized I'd never heard sound from the first video either. Muted? I held the volume button, cranking it up. Max volume. Still nothing. Broken? No way. These earbuds were brand new. First time wearing them. Over 1,000 yuan. Just dead like that? My heart cracked. Refusing to accept it, I kept pausing and playing the video again and again. Tried turning volume down, then up, then down. Nothing. Fine. I shut off Bluetooth, ready to reconnect. That's when Jason suddenly spoke. Isabel, you deaf? Guys can, even after drinking. Stop watching. There's no way he could see my tiny screen from there. No way he actually heard it, right? I had earbuds in, and even I didn't hear anything. Plus, we were 2 couch seats apart. Just as I puzzled over it, Jason walked over, yanked off his earbuds, scowling. You know why you've got no sound? Because ex-girlfriend, you're connected to my earbuds. I said earlier nothing could be more awkward than my ex being my advisor's son. I was wrong. The floor of Jason's house sparkled because my dignity had been scrubbed clean off it. He clenched the earbuds and warned me through gritted teeth. Whatever stupid tricks you're pulling, cut it out. I don't like you anymore, so stop clowning around and acting all cutesy. Grow up. My anger spiked. Seriously? You're not that unforgettable. And maybe reflect a little 3 months since the breakup, and you still haven't ditched the earbuds I gave you? They were my birthday gift to him. Back then, we always shared earbuds, even synced phones. Reflect on what? Whether I switch or not is my choice. Unlike you, swore we'd never cross paths again. Never show up in each other's lives. And now, you're the one showing up at my house. Oh, please. Where I go is my freedom. If you don't like seeing me, then go dig yourself a hole and bury yourself. Problem solved. I'll never be in front of you again. Yeah, free enough to walk into my house. You're so pushy. Why not just say my whole family belongs to you too? Fine. You're mine. Go write me a dissertation and put me as first author. A minute ago, I'd felt awkward facing him. But now, the old bickering muscle memory came roaring back. Seeing him get shut down made me feel ridiculously good. I shot to my feet, rolling up my sleeves, ready to keep arguing. But Jason suddenly went quiet. I frowned at him. It wasn't even cold, so why was his face red? I snorted. Wow, 2 little jabs, and you're already flushed? Sensitive much? Jason kept his lips pressed tight. sulking. "What are you two standing there for like idiots? Dinner's ready," his mum called from the kitchen. At the table, I basked in the joy of victory, grinning ear to ear. My advisor glanced at me, cracking up over my food. He pushed his glasses up, squinting. "Isabel, how's your research coming? Got that data sorted? Read the papers I sent you? Just send me your outline first, if you must." My smile vanished instantly. Seriously, he had to bring this up at the dinner table? Jason, sitting beside me, let out a smug chuckle. My advisor didn't let him off either. "You think that's funny? Fine, she's your responsibility. Isabel, hand your first draft to Jason." Jason and I were both speechless. My parents just ate in silence, happily watching the show. My advisor's wife pinched his arm. "We're eating. This is home, not your office. Keep talking, and you can eat with the dog." I nearly laughed, but held it in. Then she turned to me with a kind smile. "Don't mind him, Isabel. Take your time with the thesis. If you get stuck, you can ask Jayan. Easier to talk with someone your age." Jason finally spoke after ages of silence. "Please don't. I can't chat with someone who can't even write a thesis." To break the tension, his mum started telling stories about him as a kid, like the time he raided the chicken coop and got chased, pecked right on the butt. I giggled non-stop, distracted enough that my chopsticks wandered into the stir-fried chili pork. Suddenly, all four parents stopped laughing, their eyes landing on me. More precisely, on me and Jason. Following Mum's gaze, I looked down at my bowl. Somehow, the piece of chili pork I'd picked up had ended up in Jason's bowl. My brain shrieked in silent alarm. Back when we were together, if there was food I couldn't handle, I always passed it to him without thinking. I couldn't eat spicy, and just now I hadn't even hesitated. Before I realized it, that chili-slick piece of meat was already in Jason's bowl. Muscle memory terrifying. Jason quickly popped it in his mouth, grinning slyly. "Relax. Even if you give me food, I'm not gonna help you with your thesis." God, let that chili burn him alive. I refocused on my meal, then noticed the big shrimp platter was already half empty. Jason had an empty bowl, dropping in shrimp one by one after peeling them. I never bothered peeling, so I hadn't wanted any. But now, seeing a whole bowl of peeled shrimp, I swallowed hard. I was already planning to buy some tomorrow. Just then, his mom asked, "You're allergic to seafood. Why are you peeling so many?" Jason grinned. "They're for you, Mum." She shot him a look. "Guess who you got your allergy from?" Then she turned to me. "Isabel, eat. Save your hands from getting messy." I peeked cautiously at Jason. He slid the bowl toward me. "Go on, eat. Maybe it'll grow you some brain cells." Fine. For the shrimp, I'd let the grudge slide temporarily. After dinner, the grown-ups chatted away. Jason got a call, said he had something urgent, and left. The moment he left, the topic veered right to him. My mum gossiped, "Out so late going to see a girlfriend?" "No," his mum said. "He doesn't have one. He's not young anymore, but he's not planning to date, and we don't push him." She sipped her tea, lowered her voice like she was revealing a secret. "Not long ago, he broke up. He stopped eating, wouldn't leave his room, cried all day. He's ruined half the flowers in my yard, kept picking them while muttering he never wanted to see her again, never wanted to date again. He's been busy with work lately. A bit better now. We don't dare ask. Just let him be." Jason? Crying? Unheard of. We were together for years, and I'd never seen it. Turns out he was hiding it. I burrowed into my coat, guilt creeping in. I broke up without even giving a reason. Didn't he act tough, agreeing without a word? So why did he cry behind closed doors? That night in bed, all I could see was Jason crying. I tossed and turned, sleepless. I opened TikTok, trying to scroll myself to sleep. After a while, I habitually clicked on Jason's profile, my daily surveillance ritual. Still nothing posted. I swiped right to exit, but the phone slipped from my hand and smacked me square on the nose. Pain shot through me. When I grabbed the phone off my pillow, I saw I'd accidentally tapped Request Update on Jason's profile. I was ready to delete the whole account and make a new one. Then suddenly, a DM popped up from Jason. Open it. It was a mirror selfie of his abs. Damn. Human perfection. A few months apart and he'd secretly gotten even fitter. Who said this account was useless? This account was gold. Ugh, couldn't touch, couldn't sleep. Afraid he deleted. I saved it instantly and watched it dozens of times. Finally, I replied coldly. 1. Still up this late? Thinking about me? I rolled my eyes, typing back. Can't sleep. Same old thesis hell. If you can't write, why are you on your phone? iPhone 16 Pro Max, 1 TB. Jason sent back a speechless emoji. I set the phone down, staring at the ceiling, and the image of him crying came back. Guilt swelled in the middle of the night. For the sake of those abs, I wanted to apologize. I picked up my phone and typed, Jason, are you awake? I've got something I want to say. Before I could finish my heartfelt essay, he replied instantly, What, you want to apologize? Don't bother. Trying to soften me up, so I'll help with your thesis, only to kick me aside again. Tell me, Isabel, what am I to you? A stand-in? A tool? Damn it. Sure, I was a model student who loved learning, but I wasn't that bad. I quietly deleted the 300-word draft and asked instead, That money tree in your house got a link? Huh, planning to buy one for him? Nope. I had no clue what he was rambling about. Forget it then. School starts tomorrow. Annoying. I'm done chatting. Fine. He replied. I, Jason, hereby officially approve of the new semester. The next day back at school, I cleaned up the dorm bed I hadn't used in ages. Before, I'd been living with Jason. After the breakup, I moved out of his apartment. This semester I was back in the dorms, and couldn't resist buying a ton of new stuff. On my way to the package station, I realized I hadn't received a single pickup code. That made no sense. I'd ordered everything a week before school started. When I checked, a piercing scream escaped me in the dorm, nearly getting me thrown out by my roommates. I'd forgotten to change the delivery address. Everything had gone to Jason's apartment, and he hadn't even told me. Without thinking, I rushed straight to his place. It was the weekend, so he should have been home. Standing at his door, I called. After a long while, he finally picked up. What? Just 2 cold words. But his voice was low, raspy, a little breathless. His heavy breathing oddly suggestive. My brows arched. Fresh out of a workout? My packages went to your place. I came to get them. Oh, then come in. He hung up right after. I waited, but he never came to open the door. Impatient, I tried pressing my thumb to the keypad. Ding. The lock opened. I blinked, a little surprised. Inside, no Jason in sight. I walked further in, calling, Jason? He stepped out of the bedroom shirtless, just gray sweatpants on. His lips were moist, eyes rimmed red, damp bangs falling forward. He looked dazed, tempting. I forced my eyes away before they betrayed me, scanning the room instead. Why'd you come out without a shirt? Sorry. I froze. Just being shirtless wasn't offensive, if anything. A blessing to my eyes. Nothing worth apologizing for. I cleared my throat. Where are my packages? Balcony. He jerked his chin at the corner. I walked over. For a second I thought you were trying to get back with me. That's why you sent the packages here. He followed, lips curved, mumbling. I was too busy checking boxes to catch it. What? He wiped sweat from his brow, lips pressed shut, still silent. I finally looked up at him from my crouched position. Bad angle. My head filled with indecent images in an instant. I quickly let down some hair to cover my flushed face. Once I'd finished sorting packages, I remembered something. By the way, I left some clothes here. I'll grab those too. What clothes? His expression froze, eyes dodging, a flicker of guilt. A few sets of lingerie. Some dresses. They should still be in the closet. Wait, don't tell me you threw them out? His look made me panic. Those dresses weren't cheap. Jason, you're dead if you did, I snapped, striding toward the bedroom. He hurried after me, trying to block the door. Don't! Too late. I pushed it open. On the bed, my skirts and underwear lay rumpled, scattered, coupled with the odd noises from earlier. I instantly got it. He stood beside me, tense, eyes uneasy. I laughed in disbelief, feigning ignorance. What the hell were you doing? Just then, my phone rang a video call. The ringtone floated in, ridiculous and upbeat. Loo-la-la, la-la-la-la-la-la. March bravely on. There are prizes ahead. I glanced at the caller ID, frowning. Ignored it. It hung up by itself after a bit. Silence fell, thick with awkwardness. I forced a smile. So, the rest of my clothes? Still okay? Jason's eyes slid from my phone, face flaming. Always so calm. Now he stumbled over his words. Sorry. If you don't like it, I won't do it again. I'll replace everything. I didn't refuse who says no to new clothes. I thought he'd take me shopping. But instead, he just transferred me 50,000. I stared. Huh? Not enough? Head down. He tapped at his phone again. This time it was 200,000. Yeah, Jason's mouth had always been sharp. But deep down, he was a bit of a people pleaser. I pulled a conflicted face. He scoffed, a little proud. That's the best I can do for an ex. I chuckled. You're actually kind of nice. I'll even write a recommendation letter for your next girlfriend. Jason looked exasperated. That night on the hard dorm bed, I lay with eyes wide open. The moment I closed them, images of Jason's lust-dazed face came rushing back. I licked my lips, cursing myself for being so weak. I was the one who ended it. I couldn't beg to reconcile, but I still craved his body. Restless. I gave up on sleep and started working on my thesis. My advisor had returned my draft covered in notes. I had no plan for revisions, so I figured I'd dig up more papers to reference. Opening CNKI, I typed into the search bar, only to realize I'd entered Jason's name. I smacked my forehead, but curiosity won. I hit search. Too busy thirsting over his body, I'd never actually read his work. Curious. I opened his dissertation. Halfway through, my smile was gone. Damn. It was brilliant. He could have been my advisor. If I'd known he could write like this while I was the illiterate one, I'd have kissed him mid-argument, instead of breaking up. Would have saved us both a lot of grief. Regret gnawed at me. Forcing courage, I messaged him. Still awake? He shot back instantly. It's 4:30 and you're asking if I'm awake? Want me to put you as my insurance beneficiary? Not a bad idea. Up late on your phone again? No. Can you look over my thesis? Oh, now you think of me. Where was this when you were cursing me out? When you dumped me? Did you imagine you'd come begging me for help? Listen, I've got principles. I don't go soft on exes. I rolled my eyes, typing stingy. Before I sent it, another message came. Well, send it already. Offer expires. My time's precious. I instantly turned sycophant and sent him the draft. In that moment, even his sarcasm looked like sweet talk. After a pause, he asked, I fix this. What do I get in return? I'll reluctantly check if your abs are up to par. Always taking advantage, huh? Fine, I'll check the whole body. Happy? The next day, Jason and I met at the cafe by the school gate to go over my thesis. When I got out of class, he told me he had a last-minute meeting and asked me to wait a bit. I was about to sit down when someone behind me called my name. Isabel? I turned and saw a face that looked oddly familiar. Frowning, I searched my memory for a matching name. I'm Kyle, he said. Oh, great trouble. 3 months ago, he'd suddenly messaged me saying he was back in China. I never replied. He started calling me every day, I never picked up, eventually blocked him. You don't even recognize me. I've tried contacting you so many times and couldn't reach you. Back in high school, I'd secretly crushed on him for 3 years, mostly staring at the back of his head. After the college entrance exams, I confessed. He said yes, even changed his major choice to go to the same school as me. During that time, I was over the moon, thinking my secret crush had come true. 2 months later, he told me he was going abroad, that he'd only filled out the form to tease me. The summer fling, he said, was just for fun, not to be taken seriously. He told me that someone like me, an ordinary college student, could never have a future with someone like him, who was destined for greatness overseas. I was furious, as if studying abroad made him some genius. His exam score had barely scraped the cutoff for my university. I must have been blind to fall for a guy like that. Thinking of the past, I gave him no warmth, just said flatly, "What do you want?" "Of course, Isabel, you've gotten so much prettier. Sit, let's catch up." Kyle was thin, with gold-rimmed glasses, giving off a slick, calculating vibe. Spit it out. My patience was running out. Right then I realized exes really aren't all the same. I'm getting married. As my first love. Will you come? Honestly, I liked you back then, but when I didn't get into your school, I felt embarrassed. I was immature. Only put down one choice. So I had no option but to tell my family I wanted to study abroad. I didn't mean to break up with you. Wow. So you're really blaming me for your arrogant, idiotic choice of filling out one application and getting rejected? That's on me? Kyle pushed up his glasses. I'm not blaming you. I know it was my fault. But all these years, I kept thinking of you. I've met plenty of girls abroad, but none held the place you do in my heart. I think of you often. I rolled my eyes so hard they almost stuck. Then get lost. Your so-called white moonlight is sick of the sight of you. Kyle didn't even get mad. I held back the urge to throw my coffee in his face and stood up, but he kept babbling. You and Jason, one runs his mouth more than the other. You've met my boyfriend? I frowned. Fine, I'll stop. Go find him. He's probably jealous already. What? Isn't that your boyfriend? Right there. He pointed behind me. I turned. Jason was standing there, staring at us, eyes clouded with complicated emotions. Kyle added, "Why don't you go comfort him? Otherwise I'll have to sleep with one eye open tonight. He looks like he might murder me in my sleep. You're not even worth an assassination. I'm crazy enough to kill you right now." I dug into my bag, muttering, "Where's my knife?" The look on his face turned strange. Finally, he couldn't sit there anymore and bolted from the cafe in panic. Once Kyle was gone, I walked over to Jason. He sat there, lips pressed tight, silent, like a well-trained dog. I wasn't used to it. I snatched the bouquet from his hands. "Flowers? For me?" Jason said nothing. Admiring the blooms, I remembered what Kyle had said. He and Jason had apparently met. I straightened and asked, "You've met that psycho before?" Jason nodded. 3 months ago, Kyle suddenly came to me. He'd brought piles of our old photos and love letters I'd written him. He told Jason he was my first love, my white moonlight, and that Jason, because he resembled him, was just a stand-in. Shocked, I cut Jason off. "You actually believed him?" Jason nodded. "We do look a bit alike. I couldn't deny it. I couldn't believe anyone could compare Kyle's crude features with Jason's model face. He came to you, and you didn't tell me?" "I wanted to, but every time he called, and you dodged me to answer in secret. I didn't dare bring it up. My chest ached. Kyle had been calling non-stop then, and I rejected every call. But that whole messy relationship felt like a criminal record I couldn't admit to Jason. His sharp tongue would never let me live it down. Keeping it in made me miserable, so I hid away, venting only to my best friend about Kyle. In the past, when I threatened Jason with breakups, it was just empty words. He'd never agreed, but that time, he accepted instantly. I thought he was sick of me, Turns out Kyle had been stirring the pot. Realizing the truth, I stomped my foot, itching to slap Kyle twice. Jason caught me. Don't bother. I already submitted evidence of his company's tax evasion. We can go watch the trial together. I stared at Jason in shock. He rubbed his nose, embarrassed. No hidden agenda. Just want him locked up so I can take the top spot. Wait, you mean you and PhD boy are back together? You mean you were kissing by the lake in your neighborhood when your parents caught you? Yeah. And then? My bestie immediately fired off a voice call. Full battery, Wi-Fi on, spill everything. Jason and I had nothing to hide anymore, so we told our parents outright. The next day, they arranged a dinner with Jason's parents. The moms were thrilled, holding hands, smiling non-stop. My dad wasn't as pleased. He remembered Jason's attitude that first time at his house. But when he saw Jason drop to his knees, the second I raised my voice at him, my dad wiped cold sweat, quickly saying, "Sweetie, take it easy. Don't treat Jason like a dog." My advisor wasn't too happy either. Now he had to think twice before scolding me. Despite all the ups and downs, I managed to graduate with my master's. At the family dinner celebrating, we set the wedding date for me and Jason. Between the defense and graduation ceremony, I should have been exhausted, but I couldn't sleep. I rolled over to Jason, who was half dozing. He pulled me into his arms immediately, hands slipping under my shirt out of habit, rubbing my waist, then froze. "No, you've been too tired lately. Tonight, just sleep." But I didn't listen, busy unbuttoning his shirt. My hands wandered his abs. He caught them, voice already husky. "You sure you want this tonight?" Smiling, I pressed my lips to his. "Of course. The girls say drinking plain water keeps the lightning away."